hope that students have, especially Black students, especially intersectionally marginalized communities, will have a seat at the table in redesigning admissions. And that could include taking away legacy and donor admissions and other things that give unfair advantages to communities of privilege.
Families will lose the support, pride, and hope that can come from sending students to college. And communities will lose role models, people that can show us that we can exist in spaces that were meant to keep us out.
Those were students reacting to the Supreme Court's landmark decision that effectively puts an end to affirmative action in public and private colleges. And the ruling is already having a domino effect. Historically Black colleges and universities are bracing for an influx of applicants as the changing landscape of college admissions takes shape. Joining me now is Dr. Wayne A.I. Frederick, the 17th president of Howard University. He's also a professor of surgery at Howard University's College of Medicine. Dr. Frederick, it's an honor to have you on the show. I, straight out of the gate, want to get your initial reaction to the Supreme Court's affirmative action ruling.
Yeah, very disappointing. I think it's going to devastate the opportunities for minority populations. And more importantly, it's going to hurt the pipeline for well underrepresented fields such as medicine, law, dentistry, where especially in medicine and dentistry, we have a crisis in America. In 1978, we had less Black men. We had more Black men in medical schools in 1978 than we did in 2015. So we already have a crisis on our hands, and I think this is going to further that crisis.
You know, HBCUs may be anticipating an increase in applicants, Doctor, but they also remain chronically underfunded as educational institutions. Did Howard University already prepare for the possibility of this outcome?
You know, it's interesting because over the past year, we've been making plans to try to expand our presence in the health sciences fields. We only take 126 medical students every year. This year, we'll take 130. But we received over 8,500 applications. So we have a desire to try to double our medical school, but the resources that are needed are on the order of about a $7.5 billion endowment to do that. Our current endowment for the entire university, not just for the medical school, is just under $1 billion. That compares to Harvard at over $52 billion, I believe. And then when you look at from a pipeline point of view, we send more African Americans to medical school than anyone else. And we also send more African Americans from our undergrad programs to STEM PhDs. We sent more in the past 2 decades than Stanford, MIT, Harvard, and Yale. The combined endowment of those schools is $160 billion. So getting more applications is not necessarily going to be desirable if we don't have the funding to take more students.
And let's take a look, Dr. Frederick, at states like California, for example. It's one of maybe about 9 states where affirmative action is banned. Back in 1998, California voted to ban affirmative action. When that happened, diversity plummeted. The Associate Vice Chancellor of DEI at UCLA said it's taken 25 years of experimentation through race-neutral policies to make up that deficiency in numbers. So as a university president, how are colleges and universities going to rework their admissions policies to be in compliance with this ruling, but still be able to achieve the kind of diverse campus communities we need?
Yeah, it's actually going to be very difficult because if you cannot use race, to have a student use an essay to explain, as Justice Roberts pointed out in his opinion, explain how race has impacted them, I actually think that in and of itself is discriminatory because you're asking those students to defend the existence of racism that they have experienced when they should be talking about the excellence that they have achieved and the aspirations that they have in coming to college. So you're actually, I think, putting an undue burden on those students. I think it's going to be very difficult. And I think every time that we come up with a methodology to do it, it will be challenged with a lawsuit. And I think that that's unfortunate.
And that's going to mean years of litigation, expenses that are unnecessary for universities and colleges that could be used for other things in the budget. Kind of staying on this point, Dr. Frederick, do you think universities are actually going to maybe abandon standardized testing scores, which are also historically being overvalued, but not actually accounting for the underservice of certain type of minorities and communities? And maybe these universities and colleges are now going to focus more on personal essays, which you speak speak of, which are going to be time consuming and maybe wasting very valuable real estate in these essays to be able to explain things that they shouldn't have to explain in terms of their backgrounds.
Yeah, and I think that's one. I think that's one area that we're going to have a challenge. The other areas, I think, and you see it with state institutions that are chronically underfunded. So major flagship state institutions that are chronically underfunded, who take in out-of-state students to help bring in more revenue because those students are charged more, et cetera. They tend to use zip code as a surrogate for wealth and to try to attract and to increase the number of students that they are taking in by taking in students from certain zip codes. And that can happen, which would further marginalize students from underserved minority populations if you start using things like zip code. And I think all of those surrogates, people will use school districts, zip codes, all of those are going to begin to impact what we see in terms of the population, which will further, I think, marginalize the number of underrepresented minorities in those classes. And the other issue that is going to happen is once you have that happening at the undergraduate level, you will worsen what is already a crisis at the professional level. And so I think that's going to be an issue. And then on the issue of the essay, and even in terms of resources, you have to remember that first-time in college students do not have the same resources. They do not have the same types of counselors. They do not have the same mentors. Even in their homes, they don't have parents who may have attended college. And therefore, their ability to write an essay as is already compromised, not necessarily a true reflection of their intelligence. And that can be further compromised with them having to, as you just pointed out, to put real estate into defending their race and ethnicity.